Hello. Well, I hope you've all had a good Christmas and I wish you a happy new year. And I'm hopeful that Omicron will turn out to be the last COVID variant that we need to be worried about, and we might get back to a more normal life. This video is about just disassembling and cleaning the saddle. Right, well this is the saddle as it is now. And it's got to be cleaned, and that's the top of it. A lot of hard gunk in these socket heads caps. The keeper plate or gib strip, whatever you like to call it, at the back of the saddle is held on with 4 bolts which look like this. And I'm not quite sure what the thing around the outside is. Anyway, I'm going to take them off and we'll see. Some of these were quite stiff. Right, so presumably that gib strip will come off now, yes. A similar thing here. I'll just take the way wipers off here. The rubber itself is completely hard. So I think those things with the funny ring on the top are something to screw down to adjust the height of this, which adjusts the clearance when this plate is on here. So this thing should unscrew if I had a really broad screwdriver, but I haven't got one. I could make one easily, but I'm just going to see if I can tap it round this way. And the answer is no. No, that's not going to do it. So I've got to make a suitably broad screwdriver. But I think there may be some grub screws locking this in position. Not quite sure about that. That's just a hole. It is not a hex socket. Well, it seems to be a two-part thing. Some kind of thing that you can turn, which engages with a screw which pushes on a plate. So presumably I should still be able to turn this though, shouldn't I? These holes are definitely threaded, so I think that they are blind holes which have been tapped for the fixing of something which we don't know about. Anyway, I think nothing to do with this thing here, which I want to get out. Right, so I milled a tool which will go in here. I couldn't be bothered to put a hex on it, and I hadn't got any hexagonal bar, so I'm just going to grip it in a wrench and hope for the best. Unfortunately, it's not gripping it enough. You rat. Well, I think it's I think that's moving at all, is it? Can we have it in free space somewhere? Has that moved at all? I don't think so. No, not moving at all. It's just mashing up the tool, which I perhaps should have hardened first. Tell you what we can do. We can give it something to think about. it could be time for tea and a bit of soaking. Do you not think? Okay, so I put a square on it, or almost a square. Couldn't be bothered to do anything else. Harrison, did you really need to make something so goddamn awkward as this? Alright, we'll clamp this. Right, so I've clamped it there. At last we have liftoff. Would you believe it? Right, so that's will you come out? Right, there's a little screw that adjusts the clearance on that straight gib. So what we've got is a bolt and a kind of toothed bush which engages with this threaded bush. And the threaded bush, so you can screw it down like that, and the threaded bush determines the separation of the gib or keeper plate underneath the saddle. And that's the tool that I had to make to undo it, because it was totally jammed. I'm not sure what this screw is for. Possibly it's for access to some internal passageway, because it doesn't seem to go into anything this side. Anyway, we'll take it out and see. If we can, which we can't. Right, well, we'll see if this will bring it off. Yes! This thing doesn't take no for an answer ever. Well, I still don't know what that's for though. It's just a hole. Right, so that's down to the bare bones except for this oiling point. So a bit more cleaning required now. Also not sure what this nut is for. Bolt, I mean. So what this is, I've run out of this cleaner. Well, I don't know what these two holes are. They are tapped, but M8 is too small, M10 is too big. I suppose it could possibly be M9, but that's a size that I never use. so I don't have such a tap. Right, well, I've cleaned off the paint from the top of this saddle as best I can, top and sides, so that will be repainted. Well, now that that's the top slide ways, they're completely clean now, so let's just look at them. We'll look along here. They don't look seriously worn to me. The other side. Here's the underside, which is the ways on which the saddle rests. So let's have a look at that. Are you going to focus? Thank you. Well, we can see a prominent wear line along the left-hand side there, can't we? I wonder what that's like. Looking at the V-way, looks all right, I think. Yes, well, this is the side that goes towards the headstock, and we zoom in on that. There's definitely a wear line there. So this is above this, as this has been worn down by a substantial amount. At this end, less so at the far end, the tailstock end, if you like. I can still feel it, but it's not so pronounced. So I brought the saddle into my kitchen because it was too cold to paint it in the garage. And whilst I was about it, I also painted a couple of other things because the two-part epoxy primer that I use has to be mixed in a ratio of 1:4, and therefore I can't create a very small amount of it. So I thought I'd take advantage of what I had. So that's the saddle ready for reassembly.